Good afternoon. This is a summary on the paper Why is Productivity Slowing Down? Presented by Timur, then Mohammed, Jose, Giorgio, and Abdullah.
Labor productivity, a critical driver of economic growth, has significantly declined in the advanced economy, with growth rates halving since the mid-20s. This slowdown is particularly evident in the manufacturing sector, historically a key contributor to productivity improvements. Manufacturing, once known for driving innovation and efficiency, has seen a marked decline in these gains, making it the largest factor behind the productivity stagnation. Supporting data further highlights the extent of the issue. Before 2008, advanced economy averaged around 2% annual productivity growth. However, in the years following the global financial crisis, this figure dropped to approximately 1% annually. What's particularly striking is that manufacturing productivity, which traditionally outpaced other sectors, now lags behind areas like services. This shift underlines a broader structural change in the economy. The consequences of the slowdown are far-reaching. Lower productivity growth directly impacts GDP expansion, limiting economic progress and the ability to increase wages. For workers, this means lower income growth and fewer opportunities for upward mobility. For economies, it underscores the urgent need for targeted innovation and strategic investment in manufacturing and other critical industries to reignite productivity gains. Addressing these challenges is essential for sustaining long-term vitality. Moreover, we can see on the graph that shows the steady decline in labor productivity growth, where it dropped from 2.5% in 1995 to below 1% by 2020, showing the slowdown in economic efficiency gains.
Key drivers of slowdown. One of the most important factors of the slowdown was capital deepening decline. The table on the right represents the composition of capital stock in advanced economies, showing a shift from traditional physical non-ICT assets, for example, residential structures, to ICT and intangible advancements. While non-ICT assets still dominate, their share declined from 92.56% in 1995 to 89.73% in 2015, reflecting diminishing returns from traditional investments. On the other side, ICT assets nearly doubled their share from 0.94% to 1.96%, driven by technological advancements, but their high depreciation rates limit long-term productivity gains. Intangible assets, both included and excluded, grew significantly, showcasing their increasing economic importance. However, these are often mismeasured or undervalued in productivity metrics, contributing to the slowdown. This all shows a structural shift toward intangible driven economies, but we can observe challenges in capturing their actual productivity impacts. And the second most important factor was total factor productivity slowdown. Basically, the table on the right shows that the labor productivity slowdown in advanced economies is primarily driven by TFP declines and weakened capital deepening. For example, TFP accounts for nearly all of the slowdown in France, 1.01 of 0.99, and a significant share in the US, 0.91 of 1.61, and UK, 0.84 or 1.75, and other factors. For example, sector-specific contributions, trade and globalization slowdown, and labor composition changes.
Now, I'm going to talk about the innovation and measurement issues mentioned on the economic report. The first problem is that technological advancements are not translating into productivity gains as efficiently as before. Since 2005, the USA productivity has decreased from 3.1% to 1.4%, as we can see on the graph at the left of the screen. Economists and other professionals think that this is happening because of two reasons. The first being that we are not measuring the impact of technology properly. The second is that economic revolution tend to take a while to appear in any form of data. However, I believe that there is a third reason that can be explained with the Romer model. Because, as it says on this model, the growth of economics depends on the growth of knowledge and ideas, and this growth is accumulated over time. So, it is a possibility that since 2005, we have made a lot of technological advances. However, none as big as the ones before this period. So, TFP, total factor productivity, is growing, but at a lower pace as before. The second problem is the mismeasurement of productivity, especially in ICT and healthcare. This happens because there's a challenge when it comes to measuring ICT's contribution to productivity, since innovations in this area happen to be software and digital platforms, often creating intangible benefits that are very difficult to quantify in the usual productivity metrics. In healthcare, improvements in outcomes such as life expectancy and rising costs often do not translate into measurable productivity gains. So, in summary, while mismeasurement in sectors like ICT and healthcare contributes to the difficulty of accurately capturing productivity gains, it does not fully explain the slowdown. Other factors, such as technological diffusion, labor market dynamics, and structural changes in the economy, are also key drivers.
So, the global and historical context. First is the historical cycles of productivity growth and slowdown. Industrial Revolution is the first marked the first major leap in the labor productivity driven by mechanization, particularly in textiles and agriculture. For example, in the UK, labor productivity grew by approximately 1% annually between 1800s and 1870, a substantial rate for a period. Post-World War II boom, known as the golden age of capitalism, where reconstruction and industrialization fueled productivity growth. For example, Japan productivity soared at an average annual rate of 9.7% during this period, driven by manufacturing and technological adoption. 1970s productivity slowdown is the first slowdown, driven by oil shocks and stagflation. This period saw productivity growth decline sharply. In the United States, for example, labor productivity growth dropped from an average of 2.8% to 1.3% in the 1970s. Structural shifts to service industries, which have slower productivity growth, also played a significant role. Second is the global nature of the current slowdown. Recent trends post-2005 productivity growth was slowed globally across advanced and emerging economies. Important. It's a global phenomenon. Labor productivity in the United States fell from 2.62% to 1%. Similar trends observed in Europe and Japan. Slowdown of global trade and interconnectedness. Right-wing politics like Donald Trump and forced politics, which tries to stop relocation of primary, secondary sectors to countries with lower labor costs and higher specialization in secondary sector, like China, which slows down productivity growth as the benefits of specialization and globalization decreases. Third is technological transformation, historical context. Technological lags. Major historical innovations like electricity and railroads took decades to translate into measurable productivity gains. Electrification in the United States was initially slow to boost productivity until factories with structured workforce. Technologies like AI, saving these days, and automation face integration barriers, such as mismatched skills and infrastructure adaptation. The ICT revolution is also important, as boosted productivity briefly, particularly in the United States. ICT-driven industries contributed 1.3 percentage points annually to United States productivity growth during this period. Post-2005 slowdown partly reflects the exhaustion of this one-off gains, as argued by economists like Robert Gordon.
Now, looking at the table to the right, we can see that LP growth over the course of these years has been halved. So to fix this, and slowdown also is really high. So to fix this, we need to apply key policy implications to reverse the downturn. So first of all, enhancing investment is crucial to reverse the downturn. So by providing tax incentives for private investment, which is provided by the government, and increased public R&D funding and infrastructure projects will increase in investment and support productivity growth. Also, by addressing misallocation, remove regulatory bottlenecks, and support efficient resource allocation and market dynamism, and improving innovation diffusion by providing subsidies for adopting new technologies and to establish innovation hubs to encourage collaboration. Finally, this can be shown by growth model insights. By the solo model, focus on capital accumulation, which is directly related to infrastructure investment, which will increase productivity through capital accumulation and boost investment. And the Romer model, which represent the ideas and innovation diffusion, which also relates to R&D funding to prioritize R&D and innovation diffusion. Also, lastly, the productivity growth to improve total factor productivity, which is the TFP.